There's a force that makes plants grow 40% faster, increases seed germination by up to 90%, and boosts crop yields beyond what seems physically possible. It requires no electricity, no chemicals, no expensive equipment, just simple magnets that you can buy for a few dollars. Soviet scientists discovered this in the 1960s and classified the research immediately, not because it didn't work, but because it worked too well. Today, scattered studies from universities around the world confirm what Soviet researchers knew decades ago. Magnetic fields dramatically accelerate plant growth through mechanisms that modern science still can't fully explain. Seeds exposed to magnetic fields germinate faster, grow stronger root systems, and produce significantly larger harvests. Yet this technology remains buried in obscure scientific journals, while farmers struggle with declining yields and increasing costs. Why don't you know about this? Because there's no profit in selling you magnets once. They work forever, require no maintenance, and cost almost nothing. The agriculture industry needs you buying fertilizers, growth hormones, and expensive treatments every season. A technology that increases yields for free threatens the entire business model of modern farming. Welcome to where we uncover the science they don't want you to discover. If this is your first time here, subscribe and hit the bell, because what I'm about to show you could revolutionize your garden, using nothing but magnetic fields. This is knowledge that could feed the world, but it's been suppressed because it works too well for too little money. The story begins in 1963 in a secret Soviet agricultural research facility outside Moscow. Dr. Yuri Koledov was investigating the effects of magnetic fields on biological systems when he made an accidental discovery that would change everything. Seeds that had been accidentally exposed to strong magnetic fields during storage were germinating at rates that seemed impossible. Not just faster germination, but stronger seedlings with more vigorous growth than any control group. Koledov immediately recognized the implications. If magnetic fields could enhance plant growth, the Soviet Union could dramatically increase agricultural productivity without additional land, water, or fertilizer. In a country struggling to feed its population, this discovery was potentially more valuable than nuclear weapons. The research was classified at the highest levels and expanded into a massive secret program. For the next 20 years, Soviet scientists conducted thousands of experiments on magnetic agriculture. They tested every crop, every type of magnet, every possible configuration. The results were consistently extraordinary. Wheat yields increased by 30 to 50%. Vegetable crops grew faster and larger. Fruit trees produced more abundant harvests. Seeds treated with magnetic fields showed improved resistance to disease and environmental stress. But the most remarkable discovery was magnetized water. When irrigation water was passed through strong magnetic fields before reaching plants, growth rates increased dramatically. The magnetized water seemed to enhance nutrient uptake, improve cellular function, and accelerate all biological processes. Plants watered with magnetized water grew larger, stronger, and more productive than anything achieved through conventional agriculture. The Soviet program produced hundreds of classified research papers documenting these effects. They developed practical applications for large-scale agriculture, including magnetic seed treatment facilities and magnetized irrigation systems. Some collective farms secretly implemented these technologies and reported yield increases that seemed impossible to outside observers. Then, in 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed. The classified research was scattered, scientists emigrated or lost funding, and the magnetic agriculture program disappeared almost overnight. Some research papers were declassified and published in obscure journals, but the practical applications were lost. The knowledge that could have revolutionized world agriculture was buried in the chaos of political collapse, but fragments of the research survived. In the 1990s, independent scientists began rediscovering magnetic effects on plant growth. Studies from universities in India, China, Poland, and other countries confirmed the Soviet findings. Magnetic fields consistently improved seed germination, accelerated growth, and increased yields across multiple crop species. A 2003 study from the University of Agriculture in Poland found that tomato seeds exposed to magnetic fields showed 60% faster germination and 40% larger fruit production. Research from China's Agricultural University demonstrated that magnetized water increased rice yields by 35%, while reducing fertilizer requirements. Studies from India showed that magnetic treatment of seeds improved drought resistance and disease tolerance. Yet despite overwhelming evidence from multiple independent sources, magnetic agriculture remains virtually unknown in commercial farming. Agricultural extension services don't mention it in their recommendations. Farming magazines ignore the research. Agricultural colleges don't teach magnetic techniques despite decades of positive results from universities worldwide. The suppression isn't accidental. Magnetic agriculture threatens multiple billion-dollar industries simultaneously. If farmers knew they could increase yields with magnets instead of fertilizers, chemical companies would lose massive markets. If seed companies couldn't sell expensive treated seeds because farmers could treat their own with magnets, entire business models would collapse. If irrigation systems could be improved with simple magnetic devices instead of complex equipment, manufacturers would lose billions in sales. So the research gets buried in academic journals that farmers never read. Scientists who study magnetic effects struggle to get funding or publication in mainstream agricultural publications. The technology that could solve world hunger remains hidden because it works too well and costs too little. But the physics behind magnetic agriculture is becoming clearer. Magnetic fields appear to affect the structure of water molecules, making them more bioavailable to plants. They may also influence the movement of ions across cell membranes, enhancing nutrient uptake and cellular metabolism. Some researchers believe magnetic fields affect the quantum properties of biological systems in ways that conventional science is just beginning to understand. What's certain is that the effects are real, reproducible, and dramatic. Plants consistently respond to magnetic treatment with faster growth, larger size, and improved health. The mechanism may be mysterious, but the results are undeniable. Now let me show you how to harness magnetic fields in your own garden. These techniques are based on decades of research from around the world, and they work whether you're growing herbs on a windowsill or crops on acres of farmland. The materials cost almost nothing, and the results are immediate. Start with magnetic seed treatment, the simplest and most effective application. You need strong neodymium magnets, the type used in computer hard drives, or available online for a few dollars. Place your seeds between two magnets with opposite poles facing each other, creating a magnetic field that passes through the seeds. Leave them for 15 to 30 minutes before planting. The magnetic exposure appears to activate dormant biological processes in the seeds. Treated seeds germinate faster, develop stronger root systems, and show improved resistance to environmental stress. The effect works on virtually all seed types, from vegetables to flowers to trees. For ongoing magnetic treatment, create magnetic growing environments using permanent magnets placed around your plants. Position magnets with north and south poles alternating to create dynamic magnetic fields that plants are exposed to throughout their growth cycle. The magnets can be buried in soil, attached to plant stakes, or mounted on garden structures. But the most powerful technique is magnetized water. This requires passing your irrigation water through a strong magnetic field before it reaches your plants. You can build a simple magnetized water system using PVC pipe and strong magnets. Mount magnets on opposite sides of the pipe with opposite poles facing each other. As water flows through the pipe, it passes through the magnetic field and becomes magnetized. Magnetized water retains its enhanced properties for several hours after treatment, giving you time to use it for irrigation. Plants watered with magnetized water show dramatically improved growth rates, larger size, and better health compared to plants receiving regular water. The effect is so pronounced that you can see differences within days of starting magnetic water treatment. For maximum effect, combine all three techniques. Treat your seeds magnetically before planting, create magnetic growing environments around your plants, and water them with magnetized water. The cumulative effects are extraordinary, often producing growth rates and yields that seem impossible by conventional standards. The equipment required is minimal and inexpensive. Strong neodymium magnets cost a few dollars each and last forever. PVC pipe and fittings for magnetized water systems cost less than $20. The entire setup can be built in an afternoon using basic tools and materials available at any hardware store. But the results justify much more elaborate systems. Commercial growers who have discovered magnetic agriculture report yield increases of 30 to 50% using simple magnetic treatments. The return on investment is immediate, and continues for as long as the magnets are in place. The safety is perfect because magnetic fields at the strengths used for agriculture have no harmful effects on humans, animals, or the environment. Unlike chemical treatments that can cause pollution and health problems, magnetic agriculture enhances natural biological processes without any negative side effects. Yet agricultural authorities continue to ignore or dismiss magnetic agriculture, despite overwhelming evidence of its effectiveness. Extension services recommend expensive chemical treatments while ignoring free magnetic alternatives. Agricultural research focuses on developing new products to sell, rather than studying techniques that work for free. This isn't scientific skepticism, it's economic protection of industries that profit from agricultural dependence. If magnetic agriculture became widely known and adopted, it would revolutionize farming in ways that threaten established business models. Farmers would become more self-sufficient and less dependent on purchased inputs. The technology that could solve world hunger remains buried because it threatens the profits of companies that benefit from agricultural scarcity and dependence. But the knowledge is spreading despite institutional resistance. Individual gardeners and farmers are rediscovering magnetic techniques and sharing results that confirm decades of suppressed research. Your garden can become a laboratory for magnetic agriculture. Every seed you treat magnetically, every plant you grow in magnetic fields, every harvest you increase with magnetized water, proves that this technology works, despite official denial. You're not just growing food, you're demonstrating that solutions to agricultural challenges don't require expensive products or complex technologies. The magnets that make plants grow 40% faster aren't just increasing your harvest, they're challenging the entire framework of modern agriculture that keeps farmers dependent on purchased inputs. They're proving that the most powerful agricultural technologies are often the simplest ones, hidden in plain sight, but suppressed because they work too well for free. If this opened your eyes to what's possible with magnetic fields, hit like so more people can discover this buried science. Subscribe because we're uncovering more suppressed technologies that could transform how we grow food. Share this with someone who's struggling with poor germination or slow plant growth. The magnetic revolution starts with understanding that plants respond to forces we barely comprehend, and that the solutions to agricultural challenges might be as simple as the magnets on your refrigerator. Soviet scientists knew this secret decades ago. Now you know it too.